Good evening and welcome to the April 4th, 2024 meeting of the Town of Southampton Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting is being held live and also via video conferencing in accordance with the Town Board's enactment of Local Law Number 14 of 2022. Our next meeting and those following will also be held in person here at Town Hall and will continue to allow for remote participation. So please keep checking the town's website for updates and any new information. If you wish to view tonight's live meeting only and not participate, please do not join the Zoom meeting and instead go to the town's website for viewing access. With that, I'd ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, that's fine. For those of you here with us tonight, in case of an emergency evacuation, please exit through the rear doors of this room to one of the staircases across the hall and continue downstairs out through the main entrance. Do not attempt to use the elevators during an emergency evacuation. In case of a medical emergency, the automated external defibrillator and first aid kit are both located in the hallway on this floor opposite the elevator. Restrooms are located across the hall from this room. We're going to begin this meeting with public hearings. We have applicants and members of the public here with us live and also standing by via Zoom webinar, which is being monitored by CTV. CTV will mute the speakers on Zoom until it is their time to give testimony before the board. Please be patient. If you find that you're having difficulties accessing the hearing, visit the town clerk's meeting portal and click on the instructions link. Also, for those of you in this boardroom, please silence your cell phones and refrain from speaking to each other as it interferes with the recording of our proceedings. Tonight, board member Helen Burgess is participating via Zoom. As a reminder that applicants, agents, and members of the public speaking other than attorneys will be sworn in, will state their address for the record, and will offer their testimony as it relates to the application before the board. In order to consider properly every application before us tonight, individuals commenting on a particular application will have a time limit of 3 minutes. Also, before handing in any submissions to the board tonight, please make sure the documents identify the ZBA application name and tax map number. The application name should also be written on your certified receipts. Unless otherwise stated at the end of an individual application hearing, all applications will remain open for written comments for all purposes until a set date. Those written comments can be addressed to the members of the board and sent via email, mail, and/or dropped off at Town Hall to the board secretary, Candace Cowell. At this time, I would like to take a motion to approve the minutes of March 21st, 2000.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, so Mr. Tuthill,
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, they are approved. Keith, would you like to take us through the agenda?
Okay, we have some alterations to the agenda. Item 4 on the agenda, which is Kim Vincent. It has been withdrawn. Moving along to item 8 on the agenda, which is Megan Nikonovitz. We're gonna move to re-add for 418.
Do we vote? No, we don't vote.
We don't vote?
No.
Item 9 is Gary Fitterman. That's gonna be re-advertised for our May 2nd meeting.
Second.
No vote.
Item 12 on the agenda, which is 50 Clearview LLC. It's going to be adjourned to our June 20th meeting.
That does require a second. Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
Item 13 on the agenda, which is Brian Farrell. We'll move to adjourn it to our 6:20 meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Number 15 on the agenda, which is 911 Flanders Road LLC. I move to adjourn that to our 6:20 meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye.
And the following decisions will be held off to our 4:18 meeting, and that's West Hampton Boat Works, Todd Getz and Debbie Getz, Kalamachi Group LLC, and Town of Southampton Housing Authority.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
All right, going back to the beginning of the agenda, on the new applications, item 1 is Maloney Living Trust, dated August 17, 2022. 13A Lighthouse Road in Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-347-1-21. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the Town Code: 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and 330-83C yards to allow a swimming pool to be located within the total required side yard for the principal dwelling. And 2, for the pool patio. 330-11, residence districts table of dimensional regulations to allow a pool patio to be located at an accessory side yard setback of 13.7 feet where a minimum of 20 feet is required, and 330-76D and 330-83C to allow the pool patio to be located within the required minimum side yard setback and total required side yard setback for the principal dwelling and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Daphne Vaughn, Surfside Environmental Planning for the Maloney Trust. There's a few things that I've given to Katie to stamp in that I'll reference in my speech.
Okay.
So,
Take one, put the original down
Pass
and then
these
pass them
down?
down.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
excuse me. So the subject property is located in an R40 zoning district, and although it's conforming with lot area at 41,760 square feet, it's a non-conforming lot as it does not contain road frontage on Lighthouse Road. There's access gained through a right-of-way that's deeded through the lot to the west of the parcel.
All right, we're still distributing here, so.
That's okay.
Just give us a second.
It's all the same.
There we go. Okay.
So the property currently contains a single-family, three-story residence with a covered porch and a two-car detached garage with storage building that's stated in the corrected certificate of occupancy. That is one of the documents that is just passed out. That was from Sean McDermott, the Chief Building Inspector, dated March 18th of this year. Additionally, the lot contains an in-ground swimming pool and an associated surrounding patio that was permitted on the south side of the residence in a certificate of compliance A11334. That's on the back of that new CO that I gave to you, that was issued on November 8th, 1993. The property also contains 2 storage sheds, which are both proposed to be removed as part of the proposed project. So at the present time, the owners wish to construct a new 2-story residential addition with an extension of the existing porch in front of that addition on the north side of the residence that was originally constructed between 1900 and 1910. The proposed addition will comply with the R40 zoning setbacks and pyramid requirements, which are depicted in both the survey and the architectural plans that were submitted as part of the application. So once this addition that's proposed is constructed, the existing permitted swimming pool will no longer be in compliance with zoning code, and that'll be located in the total required principal side yard setback. So it will require variances from 330-76D and 83C for a total principal side yard setback of 49.6 feet, where 60 feet is required. Additionally, the existing patio that's on the, surrounding the pool is proposed to be extended by 5 feet toward the southern lot line, with the side yard setback proposed at 13.7 feet, which would require a variance from the 20-foot minimum setback for the principal, from 330-11, as well as variances from 330-76D and 83C for it to be located within the required minimum and total principal side yard setbacks. The swimming pool was permitted originally in 1987. That's these documents that I passed out here. It's the original application. Wasn't constructed though until 1993 by Tortorella Swimming Pools, which is a local reputable pool contractor, still in business to date. The pool was inspected and approved and received a certificate of compliance from the building department. In those days, final surveys were not necessarily required. The pool is adjacent to an existing vacant lot on the south side. So there's not really any neighbor that is impacted by the patio extension. The property is also fronting on Shinnecock Bay, as you can see on the survey. And we've obtained letters of non-jurisdiction from both the Town Environment Division and the New York State DEC for the proposed project. So the addition is proposed where it is due to the historical nature of the existing building. So it's difficult to construct elsewhere on the property that would maintain the integrity of the architecture. The project has been reviewed by the Landmarks Board, which is the third document that I gave today, and they issued a letter of no objection for the proposed addition back in November 2023. So the addition exceeds the minimum side yard setbacks at 25.2 feet from the northern property line, and the residence itself is located 68.9 feet from the southern property line. To upgrade the property environmentally, the owner's installing a new IA sanitary system. Excuse me. Also, a proposal for the relocation of the swimming pool to a conforming setback was submitted with the application package. I know this board is usually interested in seeing things like that to demonstrate the significant expense that would be incurred to relocate the pool to a conforming location.
What was that again?
The cost, I
Yeah.
think it was $135,000.
Okay.
Right, but wasn't it like 250 something
Oh,
to
maybe
demolish
you're
and then
right.
rebuild?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think you are right.
It's like,
Yes.
it was a significant amount.
Over $250,000.
Yes. But as I said earlier, the pool was approved over 30 years ago and has a certificate of compliance.
I have a quick question, if
Yes.
I could jump in. So you're asking for an accessory side yard setback of 13.7 feet for the proposed pool addition. I don't see that on the survey.
No, it's for the patio.
Oh, for the patio,
patio.
that's what I meant.
Pool's not moving.
The
Yeah,
pool's not
no, the
moving. No,
pool's
the
staying
pool's at
exactly where it is.
24.4. I don't see it on the survey.
I think there are two different surveys I had, so, the
Yeah,
survey I have in
we,
front of me has it, so.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yes, it
The
has.
I think the-
13.7 feet?
Yeah,
Pool was
Okay.
originally shown, the setback, maybe,
there was like
wrong.
another survey that I think, you know,
Because-
did
As long
not
as we
show
have it
it.
in the record, that's all I care about.
Yeah, we
It's in
had
the
to update the survey per Marge Riley's comments, because she wanted to know the setback of the patio extension. So
Right.
that was.
How high is the patio?
It's at grade.
Grade.
It's at grade?
Yeah.
Okay,
So typically, that wouldn't require a building permit,
Right.
but because it's within the required side yard, it requires a variance.
And you're gonna comply with pyramid height?
Yep,
There's
yes.
no pyramid issues.
There's no
No.
pyramid relief.
No, I think in Marge's comments, she had said she wanted information clarified about that, but the plans are showing the average natural grade, which is referenced on the corners of the house on the survey, so I think she just might have missed that. But the architect, who is actually here tonight, did portray the pyramid accurately, and there is no issue.
okay. I see that there are a couple of things gonna be removed. truck deck. The shed is gonna be removed or moved. What else is there? A portion of the patio and the barbecue to be removed, at least on the survey that I have.
Yes.
Okay, so that could be
The-
reflected in the minutes.
Just to reference that deck that's on the waterfront, I have been in process of receiving permits from the town trustees to fully remove that deck and replace it within their jurisdiction, closer to the stairs with something smaller with a beach access.
Okay. Okay. Are there any questions from the board? Keith, this is your lead. Do you have any particular questions?
Nope, I asked what I asked.
Okay. Anybody else?
Let's go to the public.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on the application of 13A Lighthouse Road? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 13A Lighthouse Road? Okay. Keith, this is yours.
Seeing and hearing no one, I'll move to close. Giving it open for written submissions to 419 with a determination on 5/2.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Daphne.
Anytime.
All right.
Okay, item 2 is Michael Ciancio, 28 River Avenue in Eastport, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-351-2-14. Applicant requests relief from Town Code 330-115C, continuance for a principal front yard setback from the existing 39 feet to 33 feet to legalize an existing covered front porch constructed without the benefit of a building permit on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Can you pass that spot, please?
Okay, yes, okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Steve Caputo, 120 Mill Road, West Hampton Beach, New York.
Okay, tell us about the application.
I guess we should start with, the first point I should make is that even though this is a structure that was built without receiving permits or without receiving a variance, I offer this as explanation, not excuse. My client bought this property within the last 6 weeks, and he immediately noticed that he had this problem, and he hired us right away. Again, not an excuse that he didn't build it, he doesn't know when it was built, but he knows, that he understands very well that it was built without permits and without a variance. He was not notified of the town that he had to do this, he did this of his own accord, and he wanted to come forward. So I say that in the beginning so that I can at least make a colorable argument as to why we didn't come in.
And you recognize that that's not the preferable way to do business
We
here,
hate
right?
doing it that
Okay,
way,
that's
because
all
then I
that
have to come
matters.
in and make this whole
Exactly.
speech.
Exactly.
Certificate of occupancy on this property was issued in 1988. It was a pre-existing CO. The original structure was built prior to October 1957. The structure has not changed significantly in terms of distance from the street. It is presently, the main structure is 39 feet from the street with the overhang porch, which is 6 feet deep. We would then be 33 feet from the street. The porch is not enclosed. It's got a roof and it's got 2 columns. On that particular block at 38 River Road back in 1999, a variance was given by this board for 20 feet setback. And visual observation of that street, there are at least 4 other houses that are as close or closer to the road than what my client has now. One of them never appeared in front of the building department.
You don't have to give, don't talk out of turn.
I'm not naming names,
Yeah,
but,
don't
and there are,
name names.
the 3 others are all, they have building permits, they have COs, they have certificates of completion, and they're all roughly 30 to 35 feet from the road. It's been upzoned over there, it's an interesting little street. These are cottages, they were probably fishing cottages back in the 30s and 40s that have been finished. way before I think anybody was even worrying about setbacks.
They're doing
porch
construction on the bridge
like-
there now too, right?
You can't use the bridge.
It's-
Right, you
it's
can't, the
closed.
bridge is out, so if you
Yeah.
came to look at the property, you can't get there over River Avenue
Pass by it
Bridge.
every day.
That porch is, that's a common amenity in Southampton town
Yep.
for people, you know what I mean?
I have
Yeah.
no problem with it,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. And like I said, it's not enclosed, and it's only, it's less than 60 feet square. It's 6 feet deep by 10 feet wide.
Okay, you're the lead.
Anybody?
Well, no, anybody on
I
the
don't have any
board?
questions. I'm okay with it.
Anybody on the board?
No.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on the application of 28 River Avenue in Eastport?
No.
We have a note that the survey needs a revised date on it.
Yeah. Did you get Marge's comments on the,
I never got comments from Mark.
okay, she said this survey shall be revised to indicate the setback
Candace?
to the
I gave
covered
you the
porch.
reserve.
But the survey shows that.
But the survey shows the setback.
But does it have a revised date on it, or does it still say the old date?
It says August 1st,
2023.
2023.
Okay, so, I mean, we need a
We need an
survey that has a
update.
revised date.
That's easy to do.
Yeah.
That's easy
Okay,
to do.
so
That
you'll
should be my
submit
biggest problem.
a
Yeah,
revised
you ought to do
survey.
something.
Yeah, don't make this too easy. Okay, Bob.
Thanks for
You
noticing.
could,
Can't help myself.
you can get the survey in by 4/19, written submission?
Oh, absolutely, I'll try to have it due next week.
And so I'll look to close the meeting, hold it open with written submissions till 4/19 with a decision on 5/2.
5-3.
5.
No,
5-2.
5-2.
Decision 5-2.
Sorry, second.
Mr. Macedonio,
Aye.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Mr. Leonard,
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, you
Thanks
guys.
very much, folks.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Okay.
Moving right along.
And then I wrote 5-2, and then I'm thinking 5-3. Should I state on the record that I'm recusing now or after
Okay.
he calls?
We're up to 3.
Okay, item 3 is Karen and Bruce McGowan, 508 Watermill Town Road, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-45-2-120.1. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for a proposed pool. 330-6 that references 330-11 Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory distance from street, front yard setback from 110 feet to 70 feet. And an accessory side yard setback from 50 feet to 21 feet. And 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts in 330-83C yards to allow the pool to be located within the required front yard for the principal building on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction, can you pass those to Susan?
Okay, and
Allen,
I'm,
are you an
Certainly
attorney?
can.
Susan, before you start, I'm recusing myself from this application.
Okay.
I'll be
And
done.
just take one of those pens down.
I am an attorney, yes, not currently practicing, but still licensed.
Take one and pass.
Could you please
You're
state
lucky.
your name and address, please?
Of course, Kevin McGowan, 14 Fern Road, Southampton, New York.
Okay, tell us about the application.
Sure, good evening, board members. I'm here on behalf of my parents, Karen and Bruce McGowan. This is their house at 508 Watermill Tower Road. It was built in 1988. They've been living in it ever since for the past 35-plus years, I think 34 of which my mother has been talking about putting a pool in the property, and they're finally getting around to the application.
Now that you're out of the house. they're
I
gonna
know,
put
now that
one
I
in
can
there.
enjoy, I have kids though,
Now
so
that
hopefully
you
they can get in
enjoy
there.
it, right.
But I hope you'll agree that, I'm coming before the board with a rather straightforward application. It's a pretty encumbered property in the sense that it's a nearly 1.5 acre site, but it's got frontages on 3 separate streets. Watermill Tower Road to the south, Maple Avenue to the west, and Parkside Avenue to the north. The proposed location of the pool is directly off of what's the backyard of the house, though it's technically a front yard due to its frontage on Watermill Tower Road. But there is no backyard for this property because of the 3 street frontages. It's also in the Aquifer Protection Overlay District, and, they've been good stewards of the property. There's the 35% clearing restriction. They still have only cleared 28% of the property. But that limits where you can put the pool further, because they're putting it in an already cleared area that's a yard, instead of trying to push it further into the wooded area. But the setback relief they need is off of Maple Avenue to the west, where it's got a 70-foot setback instead of the 110-foot setback required from that street, and 21 feet from the eastern lot line, because there's a corner that juts out on the neighboring property. But what should have just been distributed to the board members was a letter in support from that neighbor, Jason and Ishwara Shrine, at 500 Watermill Town Road. It's really the only property in close proximity to this pool location, and they have no objection to the application. With my application, I also provided a quick analysis of the surrounding neighborhood. Of the 10 immediately surrounding properties, this is literally the only property that does not have a pool. Several of the properties had to come before this board for similar setback relief in order to get their swimming pools. So if anything, the granting of the variance relief would actually bring this property more in harmony with the surrounding neighborhood, which is entirely surrounded by single-family homes with swimming pools. That's essentially the relief being requested. If there's any questions or any additional
I went to
information.
the property.
Mhm.
It's very well vegetated, and, there's really done a great job in terms of that. And, I was looking for an entrance on Watermill Town Road, and there isn't one. So then I went around Maple and I went to Parkside. So you're right, that essentially this is the backyard, functions as the backyard,
Correct,
even
yeah.
though it's a front yard. There's a lot of area between the pool and the road, some of which is trees and shrubbery.
Yeah, it's
and
in the-
other is cleared, yeah.
Correct, yeah, the trees between Watermill Town Road and the property are up until the yard where there's a line of evergreens.
Right.
It's all the, original oak forest.
Right. Anyhow, I have no difficulty with this application. Is there anybody on the board who wants to say anything?
It's a constrained piece of property.
It's a
Yeah.
very constrained, because it's
Yeah.
got 3 front yards essentially.
Right, very
And,
wooded area.
but they're not really front yards. I mean, in the sense that it's a heavily wooded area.
Right.
It's very private, so it's not like you're encroaching on your neighbor or anything like that. It's
It's
really.
got screening, and the
Yeah.
one neighbor that might be affected, we
Yeah,
have a letter of.
Is that from Sharon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, they said, and then you're also gonna remove the fence that
Wire fence that goes
across their property?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And will you put in, I couldn't get to that corner. What are you proposing in terms of shrubbery over there, or is there shrubbery already?
There is, I don't have photos with me, but
Yeah.
that's been
We
my
can
father's pet
Mature? We can
project.
see that. That's
Yeah, there's
very
mature,
heavily
there's mature shrubbery all over
Okay,
there.
so, and they intend to.
You can't see that neighbor,
And
the
they
neighbor's
intend to
property.
maintain that,
Absolutely,
continue it. So I
yes.
would like to say that in the decision, we should mention that the, existing shrubbery will be maintained.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on 508 Watermill Town Road? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard?
I did wanna ask a question.
Go ahead.
Had you or your family considered turning that 20 by 40 to 40 by 20? So as to perhaps give you a little bit more room between the property line? Was that considered and just decided?
So part of the issue is you can't see it in the survey, but if you go longer towards Watermill Town Road, you're really getting underneath it would require clearing additional trees in order to get any sunlight back there. The
Yeah,
area where it's
I see
located
that.
takes
I
it,
see
yeah,
that,
it takes
yeah.
advantage of the little open area there is on the
And it
property that
also
gets
is
sunlight.
contiguous with the patio, like the patio is this
Right,
way and the
right.
pool is that way, so it seems to make a lot of sense.
I'm just asking, I think it's our
Good.
job to
Fair,
ask.
yeah.
Plus, you did a very nice job on this package.
Oh, thank you.
Put it
Thank you
together
very much.
very, very well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so we're gonna say that you're gonna maintain the shrubbery on the, I guess, eastern property line, right?
Correct, yeah, the eastern corner, absolutely.
Okay. So there's no other, anybody on Zoom, I've been through that. It's my project, so I'm going to say that we are gonna close the public hearing. Leave it open for written comments until, what are we doing? 4/19,
419 for.
and with a decision on May Second.
Second.
Mr. Tottel?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much, Board.
Thank you.
Okay, item
luck,
5 on
everybody.
the agenda is Nikolai Nielsen, 7 Post Place, North Sea, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-95-2-52.2. Applicant requests relief from Town Code 330-6 that references 330-11 Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal rear yard setback from 60 feet to 44.1 feet for a proposed one-story addition to an existing dwelling and any other relief necessary.
The board has jurisdiction. Can you pass that to Mike?
Is there somebody on Zoom? Okay. We can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Unless you're doing a ventriloquist stack.
Do you see a mute button?
Like that, huh?
You lost.
There could be a mute button somewhere. Can you find it? All right. He is unmuted. Why are we not getting his audio? All right, you apparently are unmuted, but we're not getting your audio. No.
No.
Do you want us to do a second call and see if we can resolve this issue?
Or you want?
Yeah, you can disengage and then come back on and see if we can get you next time. And we'll just do,
Oh, there you go.
We hear you.
Woo!
we got you. See, I
Got
knew,
you.
You hear me now?
We just threatened
I knew
not
if
to
we
hear you.
scared
and
you
then
enough, we'd.
Yeah, good, good.
fix.
Okay. Are you an attorney?
I'm an architect. I'm the architect. for the
Okay,
project.
so let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Patrick Stowe. Address is 20 Woods Bridge Road, Kitchener, New York.
Okay, tell us about the application.
What we're proposing today is, what we're requesting today is a rear yard variance for the addition of a family room to an existing small residence in North Sea. If you look at the survey, you'll notice that it's a trapezoidal lot that narrows to the west side, it's wider to the east side. The rear yard setback actually comes almost to the rear of the existing house. We're proposing a rear yard setback of 44.1 feet, where 60 is required, requesting a variance of 15.9 feet. It's a one-story addition, providing additional space for a growing family. The family room addition is phase one of a two-phase project. If you look at the drawings, it shows the second phase, which is in addition to the east side of the house. The family room is proposed at the rear of the house with a deck to the east to the west side to provide access from the house to the pool. We did consider putting the addition, the family room addition at the west side of the existing house, but that's where the septic is. So we're limited on what we can do there. If anyone's been to the site, you'll also notice that it's a very difficult site. The whole northwest side, or sorry, northeast side is a hill that goes up approximately 12 feet at the high point. There's a retaining wall at the west side of the house, and east side of the house. So we're very limited on where this addition can go.
I have a question for you, and that is, the sign posting the notice to the public of this meeting was not on the property when I was there today. Do you have any idea why, or I think you're in, you're upstate, so, yeah.
It was installed a week and a half ago or so.
Okay.
Prior to the timeframe.
Okay.
With the wind last night, maybe it blew up, I have no idea.
It's possible,
It's not uncommon,
not
but
uncommon.
we give flimsy signs with flimsy sticks.
I got a photo of it if you need to see it.
Okay. Is that, kind of like stairway treehouse on this property, or is that?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay. Is that, has that been identified as something that's appropriate or not? I guess it's not mentioned here, so it hasn't been,
We need not address the existing treehouse.
okay. All right.
I have a question on the deck. Now, you're proposing, excuse me, a setback of 38.4 feet. It's not indicated on the survey?
No, it's not.
It's
It
not,
needs-
yeah.
it
You'd
needs to
want to
be.
do that.
We need to have the revised survey to show that. It's the setback for the deck.
For the proposed wood deck.
Proposed wood deck. And that's gonna be not at ground level, correct?
What's going to be the level of that deck? The land kind of contours, right?
Approximately 2.5 feet
Okay,
above the existing grade.
okay. So we need that revision on the survey.
Okay.
Michael, you're the lead on this. Is there any other
Yeah, have you
questions that
spoken
had?
to any of the neighbors, in particular the one that is behind this?
Yes, we did. We already spoke to all the neighbors. At the time, there were no objections. They came to the site, they looked at it from Mr. Nielsen's property, they looked at it from their property. The houses to the north are much larger houses. They've got a substantial setback from the property line.
Yeah, I see that.
And with the hill, I'm sure you'd be able to see the addition anyway.
Well, we had letters in our submittals today from 8, 10, and 12 Balcony Lane opposing this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And where is Balcony Lane?
It's so 8, 10, and 12 are the three houses abutting to the north. So you'll see on the top of the survey, it says
Balcony
map of Balcony Wood, those
So
three.
it's lots 7, 8, and 9?
Yeah, it's off that,
It looks to
cul-de-sac.
be.
And what is their objection?
Character of the neighborhood.
So
That's-
the objection?
That we change the character of the neighborhood.
This is a one-story addition, correct?
Yes, it is.
And what's the square footage of the addition?
8. Who are those from again, John, please?
8, 10, and 12. And if you look on the map, only 8, so lot 8 would be 8 Balcony Lane. Lot
Right.
7 on the survey would be 10, and then 12 is even further over.
Yeah, and
And
6,
I would note that the satellite imagery, I mean, and let's look at the satellite provided with, so if you're looking at the GIS, 8 is the one directly above where the proposed addition would be.
8 is,
It
right.
also looks to be incredibly heavily wooded in between these two properties.
And a stockade fence.
I was,
And a stockade
And a
fence.
stockade fence, yes.
I was under the impression that you had received no objection from that.
When the owner spoke to them, there was no objection. Obviously, they,
To number 8.
essentially,
Well, but it looks like these were,
They may have spoken to the applicant or owner after those.
After
letters
these-
Those letters actually came in before the application.
these are from
itself was
October.
Oh, so
Of
they're very dated.
2023.
They're very dated objections.
So they may have spoken since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know when the owner spoke to the neighbors?
well, I think we made our submission in December, so it was after that.
Okay.
right, but I think we do need to address objections that are in the
Yes,
record.
no question.
Absolutely.
We have to recognize that there were objections from the neighbors on the north side.
There may
And
be,
it was due to the changing the character of the neighborhood?
Exactly.
geez, I've heard that before.
They purchased their properties based on the character of the neighborhood with ample space between structures that promotes peaceful enjoyment of the attractive outdoor environment.
Okay. Okay, so, you're basically, what's the variance that you're asking for? How much of a variance are you asking for here?
From
From
70 to
60
44.
60 to 44. Okay, so
60 to
that's
44.
60 to 44, so that's like
16 feet.
16.
16 feet,
16 feet,
about 27%.
okay.
For a one-story addition, right?
One story.
Yes.
Did you tell me the square
One-story addition.
footage? Did you have the square footage?
593.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Michael, do you want to say anything?
No, I'd like to see if there's anyone else either present or.
Well, is there anybody else on the board that wishes to comment on this? I see it as a not significant variance request. And like we said, the objections are somewhat dated, we don't know.
Exactly.
And you said that there was a fair amount of trees between the properties.
There's what appears to be
Appears to
dense
be.
woods
Dense
between the
woods.
properties.
Okay.
Yeah,
Significant
and
amount of it.
there's a height difference, right? This subject property is lower than the properties behind it off balcony, is that right?
That's approximately, I think, about 12 feet or so at the high point, maybe about 8 feet at the lower point, at the rear of the house.
Right,
Okay.
understood.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on 7 Post Place? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 7 Post Place? Okay, Michael?
Good. Okay, so we need to get an updated survey from you with the, is there anything else noted in the, by anyone at the, okay. Your survey should include the distance between the proposed wood deck and the rear yard.
Right.
And that appears to be about it. And if you can get that to us in the next week or so, we will close the, we'll close this hearing except for written submissions until 4/19, is it?
Yes.
And we'll have a decision for you on May 2nd.
Second.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 6 on the agenda is J.G. Farrell III Real Estate LLC, 8 Middle Pond Lane in Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-272-2-10. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for 2 rooftop pergolas. 330-6, that references 330-11, Residence District's Table of Dimensional Regulations, to allow a height of 45.8, where a maximum of 42 feet is permitted, and 330-84D, Pyramid Law for an encroachment in the amount of 105 cubic feet. 2, for accessory parking in the required front yard along both Middle Pond Lane and Little Neck Road. 330-77A, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in residence districts to allow a parking area approximately 60 feet by 24 feet off Middle Pond Lane. 3, for a sports court constructed without the benefit of a building permit. 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts. And 330-83C yards to allow the sports court to remain in the required front yard for the principal building of the non-conforming lot, and any relief necessary. Play ball.
Board has jurisdiction. You pass that to Susan, please.
Please state your name and address.
Carl Benacasa, 860 Montauk Highway, Watermill, New York, for the applicant. This is a 12,763 square foot lot in the R15 zoning district, so it is undersized. You'll note it exists at the fork of Middle Pond Lane and Little Neck Lane, and has 3 front yards, so it is a rather burdened lot. Getting to the easy stuff first, the parking area off of Little Neck Road, subsequent to the application, we obtained a determination
revised determination from the building department that that parking lot off of Little Neck does not require relief. There was the email that I had said that they were going to communicate that to this board. I don't know if they did, but in any event, we would be withdrawing that request for relief for the parking area off of Little Neck. Turning to the pergola on top of the roof, the first consideration is pyramid. As you can see from the diagrams we provided, the structure is little more than a frame with a cover on top. It's completely, there are no walls, it can be completely seen through. But regardless, that structure does impede on the sky plane, so relief is required. That relief is only 105 cubic feet. Considering other variances that have been granted in the area, in 62 Little Neck Road had a pyramid relief granted of 1,450 cubic feet. 141 Little Neck Road had a pyramid granted of 1,855 cubic feet, and 43 Little Neck Road had relief granted of 2,133 cubic feet. In the decision with respect to 141 Little Neck Road, this board noted that it is likely that other houses in the area will seek to build, reconstruct, or improve their homes pursuant to FEMA regulations and will require such pyramid relief. So that's with respect to the de minimis relief of 105 cubic feet for that pergola. Now to height. Now I know height is not something generally this board considers, but I would ask that they consider it in the context of this application. One, as far as views go, this lot is in the middle of the two roads, and the water is on the other side of the homes that are adjacent to it. So it wouldn't have an impact on anyone's view of the water, as it's on the opposite side of the water with respect to either Little Neck Road or Middle Pond Road. The code in section 330-84A2A notes that flagpoles, chimney flues, elevators, stair bulkheads, water tanks, stage towers, or scenery lofts as accessory facilities are not subject to height restrictions. So when you consider that, there's definitely an intent in the code that these structures that don't really serve as living space, but rather as servicing the living space, have been exempt from height restrictions. Pergola, admittedly, is not one of them, but I think is comparable to an elevator shaft or a chimney flue or a stair bulkhead or a scenery loft. Whatever a scenery loft is, I think is similar to that. In addition, non-temporary structures or umbrellas or, movable pergolas, fabric pergolas are not structures under the code and could be placed up there. This isn't a fixed framed structure that is, again, affixed to the ground, which would prevent it from blowing away, causing damage or injury. And I would also note that this is in the FEMA's AE 10 zone. When you factor in freeboard, that means that there should be latitude of about 12 feet from what is generally permitted, which is 32 feet. So that would bring you to 44, and we would then only be asking for 1.8 feet above what is permitted under code. However, as you know, there is the upward limitation of 42 feet regardless of FEMA, which is why we do need the full 3.8 feet of height relief for that pergola. And then finally, the sport court in the front. I would note in the same decision, or the same email that I got with respect to the parking area off of Little Neck, the building department said that they understand the parking area off of Middle Pond also functions as a sports court. Either the sports court markings need to be removed, or you may revise the application to include zoning relief for a sports court. So according to that determination, essentially the building department feels the only thing that makes this non-compliant is that the sport court markings. Now, that is the intent of that structure, which is why we're here. We're not just going to remove the markings and then treat it as a sports court later. I would note that front yard, again, given the burdens on this lot, there is no area to do it other than in a front yard, and that front yard is not bordered by any neighboring property. They are all across the street. It is actually the furthest from any bordering property at, the point furthest from any bordering property on the lot. So in light of the constraints on the lot, in light of the variance history in the neighborhood, and everything I've said to this point, we believe that the relief granted meets the standards under the code, that the benefit to the applicant outweighs the detriment to the community, that the requests are not substantial, and that there is no feasible way to achieve these other than through the relief. And given the flood zone in the area, the way the homes have been developed, the granting the variance will not have an adverse impact on the character of the neighborhood.
Okay, I'm the lead on this. I went to the property. It is a very imposing structure. I noticed on the survey that the coverage is 18.5% of the maximum amount. I mean, and it is a very covered lot, with a lot of cement, with the pool and with the decking. And then you add this permeable surface of the sports court. Seems like a lot to me. It's got a basketball hoop on it already. Gesundheit. It's a lot. I think it's a lot. And I'll tell you something also in terms of the pergola. The things that they list in the code are things like the upper part of a air conditioning, they're all like kind of necessary things, whereas this pergola, in my opinion, is not necessary. It's imposing. I mean, you've got a very tall building with another pergola on top. I have to be convinced. I'm not convinced at this point. And also, I wanted to ask, since we always do, what would be the cost of removal for both the pergola and the sports court? What it would cost?
Well, the sports court, you just have to take the stripings off, right?
Yeah, so I don't think there would be a cost.
Well,
to it.
so the building department has no problem with this huge asphalt area? I mean, how many?
Well, there's no coverage issues, and there's no building coverage or lot coverage concerns.
How many parking spots do you have? A 3-car garage. How many parkings? How many bedrooms?
There are 6 bedrooms.
So that means 2 for the first 3, and then
But you're talking minimums.
5.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not-
I don't know. It seems like a lot of parking, and and it's going to be used as a sports court.
We are not asking for parking relief.
I
It is
know.
going to be used as a sports
Yep,
court, yes.
it is.
But, I mean, again, lot coverage, we're not asking for any relief there.
I understand, but it's like you really right up to the minute.
Are we sure that it's only 18.5% lot
Yeah,
coverage?
it
I mean,
looks-
with all of this there?
I'm telling you.
Well, you
it
gotta
seems like a
remember,
lot
lot
to me.
coverage is in the rear yard. You're talking, building coverage is what's relevant.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
what I'm
Right, so
talking
this
about.
wouldn't count towards, it's all permitted.
It doesn't count towards coverage?
That's correct.
Okay.
Lot coverage is
Existing
rear yard lot coverage, which
lot
is now
coverage.
50%. The remaining lot coverage under the code is just covered lot coverage, building lot coverage.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not regulated.
Right. No, I understand.
As far as do these structures only serve to, how did you put it,
Well,
Susan?
they were all more necessary.
Necessary?
In the sense that they were like, the top of the stairs, the air conditioning. Maybe there was one that was a little
A
bit.
stage tower or a scenery loft?
A scenery loft was the one that was a little bit,
So I don't know if necessary is the common element.
maybe not, but it seems to me that this is,
I think it sounds to me like those are categories of rooftop fixtures, like a flagpole, like a air condenser, things of that nature. not
Elevator,
necessar- Yeah,
Yeah,
not
right.
necessarily, equipment and other things that one would find on the roof of a building, as opposed to a rooftop entertaining space.
right.
Well, that's what a scenery,
Stage. A scenery loft, I can only imagine, I looked it up. And it seems that it can only be a heightened area to improve a view. So that would be in the realm of entertainment.
In the realm.
In
but
the
it's-
realm.
Yeah, yeah.
And we concede that nowhere in these exceptions is listed pergola. But I think in light of what the intent of the code, or what the code is reflecting as what are permitted, we think that this should be looked in the context, this request in the context of that.
We should have called it a scenery loft.
Not,
Well,
it
it's not a
isn't, it's
scenery loft.
open,
You
and
can't
it's
stand
just
on
like
top.
a,
It's a sunshade.
yeah.
It is a sunset.
Actually,
So
It's a
it's-
sunshade.
It's
Not
made
even
out of
sure it's a
wood
shade.
with open slats. but it's a-
canvas.
It is.
The intent is to put plantings in it so that it provides shade in the summer.
It
is
could.
that right?
There is no intent to
No,
put
it's just-
plantings, but
it's bare.
it is
It's just
trellised.
bare.
Is it bare the way
Yeah,
it
it's
exists?
Well, it's
now?
trellised. There are
Trellis.
Yeah,
slats.
yeah, but nothing's up there yet.
No,
I don't know, we were always. Yes, all of it's done.
yes.
It's an as-built. I mean, I just have a problem with height. You know, we really were asked often to make concessions about, and we really come down hard on height
No,
variances. We do, and I just think that this is not a necessary component to the house, and so I have some problems with it.
I do understand that, and I led by saying height is not something you generally consider, but in my experience, the height requests are generally for the home itself, the height of the home itself, and not some sort of servicing structure on top, which serves, obviously, it's about shade on top and entertaining on top. And I thought the best way to distinguish it was it's not bulking, it's a frame structure, it doesn't impact views, and it serves a safety element in the sense that it is affixed to the property, thereby making it a structure requiring this relief, when you could put an umbrella up top that could fly away.
Listen, the umbrellas could fly away when they're down on the deck too. I mean, you know, if it's windy, you go and you take your umbrella down. I mean, come on.
But they don't come from 40 feet above, the
I
umbrellas.
understand, but
I think we're again faced with something that's a luxury.
I just
And we
find
keep
it's an
seeing
unnecessary.
luxury items being
yeah.
tried to push through on the grounds of being a necessity. And I think that as a board, this board has to really take into consideration where are we gonna draw the hard lines? And it seems like, to me, height, third stories, things like that, we
I
draw a
know.
hard line on them.
We do, we draw a hard line. And, you know, as I said, I wasn't being as articulate as John is just now, but, I mean, I don't see it as a, you know, kind of, it's not written in the code, and it's, you know, I know you're saying intent, but I don't see it.
And I don't think we wanna be wading into interpretation of the code at this point on this issue.
I'm not asking you to interpret that this is permitted under the code. I was just trying to provide some
But we
context.
would be doing it by inference.
That it's
Because the next
permitted.
one-
Only if you agreed that it didn't need a variance. That would be
Yes.
interpreting. Carl's saying he recognizes he needs a variance.
Right.
I do.
And I'm saying that, you know, it's difficult for me to grant a variance on something like this.
Yes.
With the height issues.
And I appreciate that luxury from necessity distinction. I do. But the standard, and Katie will advise you what the standard is, you know, the overarching standard is detriment versus benefit, whether it's a luxury or not. And we just
Right,
ask
but what
you
is
to-
benefit?
How tall are they? How tall are the
Yeah, that was
pergolas?
my question.
The
is
actual
there's
pergolas
no-
How big and
themselves?
how tall
Well,
are
it
they?
goes
There's
to
no
40.
dimensions of how, we know how tall it is from the ground, but how high is the pergola itself? It looks to be like, you know, it could be almost a floor. Are they 10 feet high? Are they
Oh, no.
8
I
feet
think
high?
they're probably 7, 8 feet high, 6 to 7
think,
feet.
but-
Oh, no, probably 8 feet high. 8
Well,
feet.
I'd like
I
to
will
know.
get you that
I'd like to
exact
know.
dimension.
I'd like to say something.
Okay, Helen, please, go ahead.
I agree with you, Susan and John, that the pergola is, I have an issue with the pergola, and I also have an issue with the sport court. Those are my 2 issues in this case. So I could not be in favor of either of those. So,
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Helen.
I have
Anybody-
no issue with either one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with the pergola
I think it's
Surprisingly.
about 2 feet. It's minimal, it's 2 feet. I think it obviously serves the purpose to protect it from the sun. It's better than having an umbrella up that would blow off the sports court. Just removing the stripes is gonna take it into code. I think that's just silly to remove stripes. It doesn't seem like it's affecting anybody. It's on the
And the
corner.
building department agrees that just removing the stripes would,
That's an email I have from Art Gerhauser.
well, that was for the other parking area.
No,
going into
he
the
added, and
garage.
I can submit this, either the sports court markings need to be removed, or you revise the application to include zoning relief for accessory off-street with a sports court.
But I also feel like they're probably trying to make a distinction between whether or not it's a sports court or if it's parking,
Right.
right? Because
Oh,
it's like,
both.
then if it's parking, there's way too much parking provided. You're not allowed to have this much parking.
Way
on the
too
property.
much
And I think
parking.
that's why he's saying, if you keep the lines on it, then it's a sports court, it's different from parking.
And the location of it is,
But they're all, he has
Nobody's
3 front
affected
yards.
by it.
It's huge. I mean, it's a huge area
nobody,
Yeah.
it's like kind of.
The parking areas?
with the sports.
With the sports court.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's not about lot coverage, that's not the relief
Okay.
we're asking for. So the
But
size
it's too
of
much,
it,
but Katie's saying if it's parking, it's too much parking area.
Right, and-
Particularly
and
given that you're
he
gonna
said
be
he's
having
gonna keep
parking
the
over
lines
on
on.
this side too.
yeah, no, it is intended to be used as a sports court, yes.
Well, we have come down hard on sports courts in the past. Remember the one on, what was it, Butter Lane or something? Where we- Anyhow, I would, so if you remove, so Katie, let me just clarify this. If they remove the,
They're not removing it,
markings.
so it doesn't matter.
no, if they were to remove the markings, the parking area would be too much, right?
I would think so, but they're not, I mean, that's what I'm saying, they're not removing it. I don't know, we have to see what Artie's talking about in
Yeah.
terms of what applies and what doesn't apply. But my guess is that he was trying to distinguish between parking areas, because it's all paved. So is it a parking area or is it a
So if it's,
court?
so
I
what
think he's
we're
saying it's
kind of
court.
thinking is that if we continue it as a sports court, then we just grant a variance for a sports court
And not parking, that's
and
right.
not parking.
It is not intended to be
For-
used
for
for
that-
parking.
For
yes.
that one, right? But then there still is
The other one we're
accessory
withdrawing.
parking. So the sports court is on Middle Pond Lane.
Yes.
The sports court's on Middle Pond. On Little Neck, we are withdrawing the request for relief, because the building department said it was permitted.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes right into the garages.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So you're kind of looking at the sports court like you would a tennis court in the front yard. It's, you know.
Exactly.
And the pool's not into the ground, it's like elevated.
It's
up to the-
elevated,
Yes, the
yeah.
The
pool's
deck,
elevated.
Yeah.
I guess on,
And the hot tub as well.
elevated on, hot tubs on the roof.
Hot tub's on the deck. It's not on the roof.
And my
No, it's on the
understanding
deck.
from the survey is that there, to the sports court, there's a gate and access to the street.
There is, yes.
What's the purpose of that? It's not
For
for
the
parking.
parking.
Well, if we want to remove that and just leave it as a sports court, I'm sure that would be fine.
Is the intent to also have parking? Because it's, the lines are only on one side of the area.
The intent, as I know it from the applicant, is just to use this as a sports court. So if the concern is that gate and access, I will talk to the applicant about removing that.
But again, having gone to see it, only the, I guess, the southern side, or where am I, north, south, east? Only to the right is a sports court with a basketball hoop. The rest of it is just asphalt, plain, looks like it's for parking. So it's not just a sports court, the whole area. It's one section of it is a sports court.
If you're concerned about the parking, that it be used for parking, I'm sure that can be amended to be limited to just the sports court.
So would that cut off some of the asphalt? Take out some of the asphalt?
I don't think so, no. I think they wanted the whole thing for the sports court. But if you want to limit access,
The way it
parking
looks like you
access-
have it as a half court.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, like, only half court is, quote, I'm sorry to be so difficult on this, only half of it is sports
That's
court.
fine, you're
The rest of
asking
it
for a
is just plain asphalt.
Yes.
So if we were to normally approve a sports court, it would be, if it was only supposed to be a half court, we would just approve a half court. Correct? And then, because what you're asking basically is we want a sports court and parking.
Well,
And
Well, let's
I
ask this question. Would your client be willing to reduce that asphalt area by half, leave it as a half court, remove the gate and remove the block apron?
That's a fair question.
That's what I was trying to get at again. Mr. Leonard is so much more articulate than I am tonight. I am so
I'm
sorry.
sure he
I'm
would
just,
be.
I'm just your interpreter.
Thank you so much. I need it tonight. I don't know, I'm all fumbling. But,
I think that's a fair request.
yeah, because it clearly is not, the whole thing is not being used as a sports court. Only the one part where the markings are,
Yeah.
with the one basketball.
If that's what you believe in, this would address that concern.
That would
I
definitely
think that's
address
a
my
very fair
concern.
request.
And with a return to grass or
Helen,
whatever.
how would you feel about that?
Excuse me?
How would you feel about that? Reducing the sports court to a half court, removing the rest of the asphalt, removing the gate and the block apron?
That would make it better, but I'm still concerned about that pergola because, I mean, we don't think so kindly on height restriction. And here we are thinking of giving just something that's absolutely not necessary. And think of all the other buildings that people are gonna come and say, oh, he has a pergola. Why can't we have a pergola? Well, you know, I think it's setting a very, very bad precedent for us to grant, and we have to take it very, very seriously. So, but I agree, John, if he does the court, I would be okay with the court.
I would be.
The photos don't have the pergola on the house, right?
But the pergolas are on the house. They're there, they're already built.
They're on the
They're
drawing.
on the-
Are they on there?
They're already,
Yes.
they're
And
already.
they're-
It's
and
not on
there.
the one I'm looking at, yeah.
No, they're
So
already
they were,
there.
they were put intentionally without a building permit.
Yeah,
and,
it
uh,
was there, you don't have to show me. But, you know, I think Helen makes a really good point. We have a lot of people with roof, decks now. Some of your own applications have roof decks on them. And if we start to say, okay, and then on top of that, you can build a pergola, maybe this one isn't so bad because you can see through and you can see the water, but, I just think it's creating a problem for us.
And I hate the feeling that we are held hostage to the fact that it was already built and that we should therefore just give a variance. I know,
I don't
but
feel that
but you know what, but I do sometimes. And,
Sometimes,
as a board member, I don't take kindly to that. I don't want to feel like because it was already built, especially someone who knows what to do.
Yeah.
And all the sport court is built without.
And that bothers me.
I mean, people cannot continue, especially people who are builders.
And I know that it being as-built is not dispositive, but by the same token, there are other issues, I think, in this that would warrant a rejection of that application.
Okay, so you have to get 4 votes. Right now, it doesn't look like you have them, Carl. I don't know, I think you've got maybe 3.
Keith agrees it's not dispositive.
Oh, does he?
Yes, we both do.
Yeah.
And we're gonna look that up soon.
Anyone here?
Oh, I'm going to ask. All right, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard? Okay, please come forward. We do have somebody. Are you an attorney?
No.
Can I swear you in then?
Yes.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and address.
Danielle Kilfoyle, and I live at 1653 Middle Road in Calverton.
Danielle, can you just spell your last name?
Sure, Kilfoyle.
Foyle?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
So my dad, Kevin Harrington, resides across the street from the subject property at 7 Middle Pond Lane in Southampton, and we take issue with the applicant's request for relief for the 2 pergolas and also the accessory parking. The application certainly warrants a site visit that I'm glad that you did, so you can truly understand the character of the neighborhood and how the subject property violates that character. I have some pictures that I'm wondering if I could submit.
Please give them to the attorney.
There's a few pages.
Is it one set? Or is it all the same set?
It's all the same set, correct. So the first picture,
Hold on, let me get it. Susan's the lead, so pass the original to Susan.
Stamp over there, though. No, my first rodeo there,
It's looking like it is.
Take it easy, EMD.
That you heard.
It's the news thing
Thank you.
himself.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Okay, so the first picture is pulled, this house is currently listed for sale, so this is pulled from that listing. And I think it clearly illustrates that a good number of the houses in the area are single-story homes.
They are,
The
yeah.
average single-story home is 10 to 15 feet high, and the applicant's pergolas reach 45.8 feet high, and therefore tower above the surrounding residences. And if you look at page 2, they are illuminated at night. So this picture was taken August 13th, 2021 at 9:52 p.m. from the front door of 7 Middle Pond Lane in Southampton, which is directly across the street. So the code in chapter 330 states that outdoor lighting on residential properties should be installed so that all light which is emitted by any outdoor light fixture shall not shine on or illuminate any neighboring property. Given the height of this structure, it illuminates approximately 14 surrounding properties, which is nuisance lighting and highly inappropriate. No other residences in the neighborhood have a rooftop terrace or rooftop pergolas, despite the applicant's claim that pergolas are a common feature within the neighborhood. On the ZBA application line items 16 through 19, the applicant suggests that the illegal driveways are justified due to their quote existence. The property was a grass-covered vacant lot before the applicant purchased it, so these driveways were not in existence until the applicant constructed them. Therefore, relief is not warranted. Additionally, item 18 of page 9 of the ZBA application asks if the grant of variances will have an adverse effect or impact on the environment. I wonder, I'd question the environmental impact of a property with this, in this close proximity to the water with excessive impervious lot coverage. I would think that would create some stormwater runoff concerns and that more of the lot should be pervious. Additionally, and sort of unrelated, the applicant has a 4-foot chain link fence that's shown on the survey, and it's shown encroaching onto Middle Pond Lane. And there's another fence that encroaches onto the south of the property. And the house as currently built is not what was approved. The applicant removed the pergolas for inspection and reinstalled them after securing a CO. And additionally, the applicant covered the eastern front and northern front parking areas with sod and removed the driveway gate in order to secure the CO. And then after the CO was granted, the sod was removed to reveal the paved areas and the gate was reinstalled. Additionally, the gate that's at the said sports court does not appear to meet the required 18-foot setback from the edge of the property if it were to be used as an active drive. So the applicant intentionally covered up these code violating aspects of the site, which illustrates that he obviously has an understanding of what's allowed, but chooses to do what he wants anyway. The limitations are clearly stated in the code and they exist for a reason, and in this case, the violations do create a detriment to the surrounding neighbors and to the environment. And for the reasons stated, we ask that you do not grant grievances for this application. Thank you.
Okay,
You
thank
really
you.
sent Marty down here, he had all this impervious material.
He has a
here,
lot of impervious.
Built illegally, maybe it's not a good thing.
Does it have wetlands on it? No, so Marty's not
No,
going
it
out
is,
there.
look, what the hell you see there?
Well, but, and in,
Pardon me?
I said,
any
what the hell do you see there?
any runoff from that property has to be contained on that property, so it's their responsibility. Oh, it is on the wetlands inventory list. Okay. But if in fact what Danielle suggested, they covered it with sod, and they took,
Yeah.
when they did the CO, then I think that there is an issue.
That's not your issue, is it?
No, I'm not, but I'm saying if it's
Neither is lighting,
wetland.
that's not your issue. We're talking about height and pyramid.
No, we do have lighting. We do deal with lighting.
You know,
If it's
tennis
not
courts are
dark
not
sky,
allowed to be illuminated
That's
at
fine.
night.
Do you want this to be unilluminated?
Well, we referred it to the Conservation Board. If it's subject to wetlands, we make a referral to the Conservation Board, so we'll hear about them, Marty.
Okay, so we're going to refer this to the Conservation Board?
Yes, we will. Yes, I will.
Okay. All right, I think there are a couple of, is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application?
Is that lit for like airplane safety or something?
What?
Helicopters.
So I was just gonna say, a helicopter.
Supposed to have little red,
I know.
Yeah.
Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application?
God, this printed up 5 minutes.
Okay, this is mine. Okay, what are we gonna do? We're going to refer this to the Conservation Board. You're gonna talk to your client about some
What is
modifications.
being referred to the conservation?
The construction of a sports court,
The sports court.
construction, yeah. I
The
mean,
illegal
the entire
construction
application,
of a
he
sports
won't weigh
court.
in on the pergola.
Impervious
He's not gonna weigh in on the
material.
Not the pergola,
No, but
they're not gonna do pergola.
Everybody, the entire application goes to the Conservation Board. He will probably say, I've already issued a wetlands permit for the house, and he may or may not weigh in on the sports court. Maybe it's outside of the
Do we, yeah.
wetlands jurisdiction. I mean,
Okay.
you know, but it, just because it was built without permits doesn't mean it doesn't go.
Of course not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the pergola.
Is not, I don't think that's part of the conservation, but as Katie says, the whole application goes, you don't, not submit the whole application. All right,
Sorry.
yeah. Carl, once again. So I think we have a couple of things here. I think we're gonna refer to the Conservation Board. You need to go back to your client and talk about some of the things that we discussed here.
Which are?
Elimination of the pergolas and the
Reduction
of the
Sports
sports
court
court
by
and the.
half.
By half and the gate.
Removal of the gate, removal of the block apron.
In the apron, yeah.
Well, or just how tall the pergolas are. I mean, if there's a
Yeah.
minor encroachment and they comply with the height, I mean, that's something the board should consider.
But it's not
And then-
gonna, it doesn't comply with the height.
If it
pergolas.
complies with the height and there's a
Oh,
minor
in other words, if you
encroachment-
drop the pergolas so that you can crawl under them, and.
Well, we don't
you
know how tall they are.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
don't know.
that's making it sound like they're 4
That's
feet
true.
tall.
If the pergolas meet the height requirement, then it's not an issue.
Well, they have to be, what, 3.8 feet lowered.
Yep.
Yeah,
But we don't know how tall they
we
are or
don't know
how
how,
big they
we'd
are.
like to know how tall they are, and they certainly should not be lit.
Only for all purposes, don't close it.
this is definitely not getting closed.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, what do you think about, Candace, in terms of timing here? Conservation Board,
June 20th.
I'm May 2nd and May 16th.
I'm here June 20th anyway. Please don't do it that same day.
oh, is this gonna be?
That's Robin's.
Oh, yeah, okay, let's not do that day.
No, May 2nd and May 16th.
Do you wanna do May 16th?
Don't ever put any of his back to back.
All right, all right, so what do you think, the 16th?
What is up with that? Give me 1 second.
Conservation Board, will-
You can shoot for May 2nd.
Okay,
Conservation will have enough time by then, yeah.
I'll be
I
mad.
can do the referral, tomorrow or Monday, but I don't know when they're gonna put it on there.
okay, okay, so if we have to, we can delay it, okay. So I move that we adjourn this application to our May 2nd meeting.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tothill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you, Carl.
Thanks, guys. Worse than you did, sweet.
You're absolutely right.
John, were you the second on that?
Yes, I was.
It's
a three-story house.
It's not, because.
Okay, item
Because it's a
7 on the
usable
agenda
space.
is Janine Grippo, 14 Homewood Drive, in Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-257-2-10. Applicant requests relief from Town Code 330-84D, pyramid law, for an encroachment to the south lot line in the amount of 40 cubic feet for a proposed one-story addition to an existing dwelling.
Okay, are you an
Wait,
attorney?
wait, The board has, the board has jurisdiction.
Okay,
I didn't hear
you're
any
not an
other
attorney.
necessary.
No. So let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and address.
My name is August Henry Muff, architect, and the address is 14 Pine Court, Northampton, New York.
Okay, you want to tell about your application?
Yes. Good evening, board members. The Grippo residence is a single-family residence located at 14 Homewood Drive in Hampton Bays. The property is a described lot in the R20 building zone. In the R20 zoning district, the minimum principal front yard setback is 40 feet, and the existing front yard on this building is 6.6 feet. Apparently, when they built Homewood Drive and built the subdivision, the house was already there.
Oh,
All structures on this property have certificates of occupancy or compliance, and recently, Ms. Grippo has been granted a permit for the construction of a new nitrogen reduction sanitary system from the Suffolk County Office of Wastewater Management for the two-bedroom addition that she is proposing. Ms. Grippo has a large family, and since COVID, has used this house as a full-time residence. The existing house has two small 9-foot by 11-foot bedrooms, and the existing den and enclosed porch are used as guest bedrooms. The new addition rebuilds a small kitchen, adds a master bedroom and a child's bedroom and a den. So complying with section 330-115C continuance, the addition will maintain the existing front yard setback, but will require a permit law variance of 40 cubic feet. The applicant respectfully requests the board to consider the variance favorably. Additionally, they will have the benefit of a building permit and will be in compliance with the town's stormwater management program. Lastly, they would like to be good to the neighborhood and have received a positive reply from the owner, Mr. Peter Gibson, of 91 and 93 West Tiana Road in support. I just handed that out for all of you. The applicant, the granting of this variance will not create an undesirable change in the neighborhood or a detriment to neighboring properties, as all stormwater runoff for the structure will be kept on site, and the existing hip roof has similar characteristics to the addition regarding the pyramid law. And you could see that on sheet S4, where I've kind of highlighted these blue diamond areas. The two on the right side of the page are existing. Just this one on the left side of the page is where we're asking for the pyramid law. Only an area variance can produce the benefit that is sought by the applicant. The relief is not substantial nor out of character in the neighborhood, as the existing house currently has the same roof line as the proposed addition. And the granting of the variance will not have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood, because we will receive approval from the engineering division for stormwater runoff control. Additionally, the best managed practices will be in place during the site work and the construction, and the area for the addition is open and is a clear yard, so we're not even taking down any trees. This difficulty was not self-created. The house was built in 1909, and the subdivision apparently next to us, which I think is Tiana Shores, was built in 53 or 57, somewhere around there. And the subdivision was actually built around the house. Ms. Grippo is a well-respected member of the community, and her intention is to seek approval for this application. We hope the board will consider this variance favorably, and we are able to answer any questions that the board members may have.
okay, so what you're basically asking for is this small 40 cubic foot,
50,
40, I think,
40.
40
35
and that's
square,
it,
40.
and
35
that's,
square feet, 40, yeah.
yeah, 40 cubic feet, 35 square feet.
Little
Okay,
portion
I'm
of the
sorry.
roof.
A small portion of the roof that,
That's it.
that infringes on the
Exists.
pyramid.
Correct.
I'm just looking at the wrong thing.
I think it's one of the lowest ones we've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, if they just made it a little smaller, you
We're
wouldn't
gonna have
even
you
be
come
here.
back. You need to reduce that.
No, we're teasing.
Well, I actually purposely put this floor plan on here because you can see how the room layouts
Yeah.
are. And this is our daughter's bedroom. This kid right now lives out of this little bedroom.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, in order to make it smaller on that side,
No.
Okay.
That's fine.
Public comment?
I have no questions on this application. Does anybody from the board?
No. No.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on 14 Homewood Drive?
Maybe Helen does.
Is there,
It's her application, isn't it?
Helen, this is your application. Is there anything you want to state?
I visited the property,
Okay.
and I have no problem with it at all. And I wish this group only the best in the group. And
Okay.
I did speak up, one of the neighbors came by to tell me that all the neighbors on the street were so happy that Ms. Grippo was doing this work. So I just want to let the architect know that.
No, that's nice.
thank you, Helene.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, is there anyone else on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application? Okay, Helen, you want to take it away?
We're gonna close the public hearing. We'll leave it open for written submissions if necessary from April 19th with a decision on May 2nd.
Second.
All right, Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you
Mr.
very
Rob.
much, folks.
Good luck.
Okay.
Together?
I'm sorry.
Want to open the next two together?
Okay, yes, the next
What
two.
you want me to do?
Yes, I would.
Whatever you want. You know me.
I don't think these were read before.
Yeah, they were.
Silverstein?
They were?
Yep, there you are.
Here we
Been very patient, Counselor.
Okay, we're gonna do 10 and 11 together. Can you handle that, Robert?
I think so.
Okay.
Make myself some, you know, it's a
So
tough.
10 is Ann
test.
Silverstein,
microphone.
38 Highland Road in Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-209-372. Applicant requests to
We already opened
determine,
them.
What's that?
We opened them. You don't have to read them.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we
Did we
open
open
them?
it?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
We
okay.
opened it up, yeah.
Okay,
You're right, I
good.
forgot.
Okay, so we don't need to read it,
all
but
right,
we
so
need to.
that's, 10 is 900-209-372, and 11, we're gonna do them together, and it's 900-209-373.
Okay. Are
Okay.
you an attorney? Okay, are you gonna participate in the discussion? Because I'm gonna swear you in, okay? Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Of course, yes.
Okay, good. And could you please state your name and address?
Ann Silverstein of 36 Highland Road in Shinnecock Hills,
Okay, great. And could you
and
just?
also 38 Highland.
Yeah, you got the both. Just state your name. and-
Sure, Heather Wright for the applicant, 48H Main Street, West Hampton Beach.
Okay, so tell us about this application.
Sure. Good evening, board members. So we're here today seeking relief from 33115D for a single and separate determination from this board for 38 Highland Road and 36 Highland Road. 36 Highland Road is an improved parcel. The vacant parcel is 38. 36 Highland has been in the Silversteins family since 1958. 38 Highland since 1985. They're 37,000 square feet and change, so they do not meet the 40,000 square feet required lot area. Both lots were conforming until 1972, when they were upzoned from the B Residence District to R40.
When was that upzoning?
72. So included in your materials was a single and separate abstract of title. The lots were separately titled until March 2020, when the applicant's mother passed away. So we have a period of common ownership of just over the 3 years, which, as you know in the code, if it had been 3 years or less, we would have been okay under 330-115F. So in my write-up, I put the chain of title so you could see it clearly. So clearly the intent was to maintain these parcels in separate ownership from 1985 forward. And they did. So, in 1985, when 36 Highland was purchased, it was owned by Lewis and Helen Silverstein, and the vacant parcel was owned by Lewis and Ann. And then it wasn't until 2011, when my client's father passed away, that Helen Silverstein became the owner, and then when she passed, Anne became the owner. So, as you know, the town code does not specify a merger clause, and the fact that two lots are held in common ownership in and of itself does not automatically merge them. We have to look at the intent. And there's clearly no intention to merge these parcels. They've maintained separate identities since the time the second lot was purchased in 1985. They have separate tax map numbers. They were taxed separately. I have copies of the tax bills from 2000 forward for both lots showing they were separately taxed. And obviously 36 Highland is improved with a single-family dwelling, and 38 Highland is unimproved and heavily wooded. And also in the materials that I provided you, I kind of gave you a chart of the surrounding parcels. And you'll see that 42, 46, 50, 30, 26 Highland, they're all consistent in size. They're all slightly under the 40,000 square feet. And so these lots do conform to the character of the neighborhood. So I think this one is a slam dunk for single and separate determination, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
I think it's clear.
You had an alternative that if we weren't to grant the single and separate, we could do a subdivision, right?
Well, lot area variances
variances,
too.
yeah.
That's the way I've done it in the past when I've presented to the board.
Yeah.
I've given that alternative, but I think here it's pretty straightforward in that you could grant the single and separate determination from 330 115D.
Okay. Is there an advantage to one or the other?
I don't
In terms of building and setbacks and everything else?
I think it's better to have a single and separate determination.
Okay. Okay. All right, whose is this? Robert?
That's mine. I have no problem with it, honestly. I think it's clear. You showed the pattern, what the intent was. Other than 3 years expiring, it wouldn't have been an issue.
It was a technicality.
Are they still in common ownership right now?
They are in common ownership
When do
now.
you intend to separate them? Because that's going to be a condition of most of these.
Yeah, of course. So we will, assuming that the board grants the variance, then we'll transfer.
Within like 6 months?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What's the plan with the piece of property?
No plan. We discovered the issue when we were discussing what the plan could be, and I said, you might want to take care of this before we do anything else, because whether it's now or whether it's later, you're going to have to address this issue,
Right.
and the longer we wait, the more likely there's
Right.
an argument for commonality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was good counsel.
Yeah, it was good counsel, and it was just a little bit over the 3 years anyhow, so, yeah.
So you're fine.
Okay, so this is yours, Robert.
This is mine. We
Yeah.
need written submissions on this one?
Thank you.
Do we have
Yes,
anybody in the
yes.
public? There's nobody?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Is there anyone in the audience? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on these two applications, 36 and 38 Highland Road?
Okay,
Okay,
so we will do them both together.
yeah.
We'll hold 10 and 11 open for written submissions to 419 with a decision on 5-2.
Second.
All right, Mr. Macedonio.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you very much.
Have a nice evening.
All right.
relieved.
Thank you. and
Best wishes.
I will consult with her on anything else I need to
Yeah.
know.
All right, it sounds.
Very good.
Sounds
Very
like good
good.
counsel, huh?
You're in good hands.
Well, I took it immediately.
You're in good hands.
Good.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
You're welcome. Okay, what are we up to?
14.
We're doing
14.
Quantuck.
Was anybody here? Are they Zoom?
14
Zoom
is
in. One more.
Evelyn McCarthy, 7 Quantuck Bay Lane. Inquire subcontracting tax map 900-359-5-5. All yours, Ron.
Is there anyone
Who's
here?
7.
On Zoom, okay, thank you. Okay. All right, we're waiting for Zoom.
Okay.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi. Did I swear you in before?
At my prior hearings.
Yes.
But not for
Okay.
this room.
Okay, just state your name and address again, please.
Tracy Shaleski, P.O. Box 147, West Hampton, New York, 11977.
Okay, Tracy. Well, you've been here before, so what's the update?
We're returning with a revised survey showing a 6-foot fence compliant with 330-1097. It's 5.3 feet off the property line at the north side, jogging to 9.6 to the south. There is currently several substantial rhododendron bushes growing between the fence and the roadway, as well as there's other greenery that's there. I just can't identify it. We've increased the setbacks for the proposed pool from 20 feet to 28 feet.
Okay.
This lot lies within the R40 zone, which requires only 20 feet side and rear setbacks for accessory structures, had it not been a through lot. The adjacent property across Meeting House will never be residentially developed as it's owned by Suffolk County Water. Our rear yard will never be someone's front yard view. Additionally, Old Meeting House Road has a 30-mile-per-hour limit. It's not a main thoroughfare between Montauk and South Country. And I checked with New York State DOT, they do the traffic study, and this is such an unused road that it wasn't even part of their study. They had checked South Country to the east, to the west, and Old Main to the east. But we don't really get enough significant traffic for them to even do that.
All right, so Tracy, we got some submissions tonight, the new survey.
Okay.
So it shows the 28.3 setback from Old Meeting House Road, and there's a 31.4 setback on the property line to the north.
Yes.
So, okay, was there anything else that we had asked you to take a look at? Let me just see, I know it's,
How about the 6-foot fence?
6-foot fence, what's the
oh, yeah, right.
disposition of the 6-foot fence that's being removed?
Oh, we're not removing it, it's
She told us they
compliant,
moved it.
with the code.
Oh, you moved it
So
and it's
we're-
compliant?
Yeah.
All right.
5 feet from the lot line, was that what you said?
It's 5.3 on the
Five.
north side of Old Meeting House Road, and on the south side of Old Meeting House Road, it's 9.6.
Well, the problem isn't so much the setback, the problem is the height, because,
Oh, no, the code states we're allowed to have a 6-foot high fence, 5 feet off the line, on through lot.
on through lines.
It's 330-1097.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Okay, so that's a 6-foot fence, 5 feet off
Yeah.
the road on a through street, on a through lot. Okay. Learn something every day. All right, so you kept the pool configuration, but you moved it.
We did make the pool smaller and we moved it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'm noticing the pool equipment is now gone from the survey, the new survey that you provided that needed the 8.3 foot setback?
Oh, yeah, no, that's gonna be closer to the pool. I believe it's gonna be over by the, tucked in over by the patio. I'm not positive, but that is
Okay.
going to have.
But that's not on the
proper
survey?
setbacks.
Yeah,
It's not on the survey, not on the new survey.
Does
Yeah,
it
that
need
was,
to be?
that was enacted in by Michael Witt.
Does it need to be on the survey?
It probably would be helpful to have that noted on the survey.
Oh, we'll definitely have it for the building permit fees, and it will be in a compliant area.
All right, so. Okay, Katie, do we need the survey to reflect that before we vote on this?
Reflect the pool equipment?
equipment.
No,
Okay.
because she's saying it's gonna be in a conforming location, and if
Yeah.
I guess she doesn't want any, then she doesn't get any.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. Who's this? This is Robert.
Mine.
This is yours. Okay.
And nobody here, is anybody on Zoom?
Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on 7 Quantuck Bay Lane? Okay.
So I will move to close the meeting, hold it open for written submissions until 4:19 with a decision on 5/2.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Mastonio.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
All right, we have a variety of decisions, and I have to find my sheet. Michael, did
Can I
you get a
start?
sheet?
You want me to start?
Yes, go
I
ahead.
think I'm up first.
Okay, for decisions, I will start with 31 Tony Tiska's Path LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 936-1-23.12. The application is for property located at 31 Tony Tiska's Path. Applicant requests variances for a proposed 55 by 110 tennis court and pergola. Application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the Town Code for the following. For a proposed tennis court, Town Code 330-6, general regulations that references Town Code 330-11, Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations. For an accessory distance from street front yard setback of 70 feet where 90 feet is required. And 2, Town Code 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts. And Town Code 330-83C, yards, to allow the tennis court to be located within the required front yard for the principal building. And 2, for a proposed pergola, Town Code 330-6 and Town Code 330-11, for an accessory distance from street setbacks of, front yard setbacks of 58 feet where 90 feet is required. And 2, Town Code 330-76D and Town Code 330-83C, to allow the pergola to be located within the required front yard for the principal building. These variances are granted as shown on the site plan prepared by Vincent Gaudiello, P.E. of the Rayner Group, P.E. and L.S. PLLC, dated October 20th, 2023.
October
The grant
2nd.
of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonio.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. I'm going to let Bob read his decision.
Michael's
No.
on a roll.
Oh, you're on a roll? Okay, go.
Sure, Dreamview LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 900-46-2-45.7. The application is for the property located at 282 Roses Grove Road, Watermill. Applicant seeks variances to legalize work done without a permit for a proposed addition. While this board does not condone construction done without a building permit under this set of facts and circumstances, and is modified with conditions for screening, this board does find that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants the following relief. 1, for a 2-story dwelling, Town Code 330-11, Residential Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for a building height of 38 feet 1 inch, where a maximum of 32 feet is permitted. A required minimum side yard setback of 46 feet on the east side of the property, where a minimum of 50 feet is required. A total required side yard setback of 98.7 feet, where 125 feet is required. And a required rear yard setback of 98 feet, where 100 feet is required. 2, Town Code 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and 330-83C, yards, to allow a tennis court to remain within the total required side yard for the principal building. 3, Town Code 330-11, for a side yard setback of 48 feet where 50 is required, and Town Code 330-76D and 330-83C, to allow an in-ground swimming pool with spa to remain within the minimum required side yard and total side yard for the principal building. And 4, Town Code 330-7060 and 330-83C to allow an existing patio located on the west side of the property to remain within the required minimum and total side yard for the principal building. These variances are granted as shown on the survey prepared by John F. Barilski dated January 3rd, 2024, and the plans and elevations prepared by the architect Robert C. Miller, last revised December 30th, 2023. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including 1, addressing both the driveway and revegetation issues with the planning board prior to the issuance of any certificates. 2, the installation prior to the issuance of any certificates and continued maintenance by the applicant and all successors in title of 18 to 20-foot high screening trees identified as eastern red cedar juniperus, don't make me say it, virginiana, placed 4 feet on center along the eastern shared property line as shown on the reforestation plan, landscape schedule, layer 4, received by this board on January 4, 2024.
Second.
Mr. Daly?
I'm going to vote aye on this, but I've got to tell you, these as-built or pre-built without permits are getting old, and especially repeat applicants asking for forgiveness instead of permission is wearing really thin on this member. Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
I second everything that Mr. Daly just said, and I vote aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
I also second what Michael said. I agree with Michael and John, but I will say aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, Keith, do you want to do yours? And then Bob, you can do yours.
All right, I have a decision in the SGM Excavating LLC and Mark's Masonry Supply Yard LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-129-2-19.1 and 19.2. This application is for properties located at 110 and 154 North McGree Street, Tuckahoe. Applicant appeals the issuance of a notice of violation. Specifically, both lots benefit from pre-existing certificates of occupancy for an excavating and masonry business, but were issued a NOV for a change of use. Based on the record, this board finds that the evidence does not support that the use on either lot has changed. Instead, this board finds that the evidence supports that the storage of mulch, chip, and hog logs is a necessary and incidental part of the pre-existing excavating and masonry business. The affidavits of James Darby and James Durrier support the conclusion, as do the code excerpts, permits issued, and testimony from Mr. Miznexky, excuse me. In conclusion, this board finds that the September 27, 2021 NOV, which stands for Notice of Violation, was issued in error, and that the operations on both lots, specifically the storage of mulch, chips, and hog logs, are consistent with the pre-existing certificates of occupancy issued for the excavating and masonry business on lots 19.1 and 19.2.
Is there a second? Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonio?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And I have one more, which is for SGM Excavating LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-129-2-19.2. This application is for the property located at 110 North McGee Street in Tuckahoe. Applicant requests variance to legalize a trailer and other structures, containers on the premises. While this board does not condone construction done without the benefit of building permits, it does find that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from Town Code 330-11, Resident Districts Table of Dimensional Regulations, for an accessory front yard setback of 22.9 feet, where 70 feet is required to legalize an accessory office trailer, various accessory front and side yard setbacks for structures used for the containment of gravel, sand, and other excavation materials, and from Town Code 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and 330-83C yards to allow the office trailer and containment structures to be located within the required front and side yards for the principal building. All is shown on the site plan prepared by Thomas E. Wolpert, P.E. of Young Associates, last dated February 16, 2024. Granting the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the removal of both the storage trailer and portion of one-story frame office prior to the issuance of any certificates.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, Bob, you're up.
This is a decision for Chang G, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-211-2-20. This application is for property located at 13 Oak Tree Lane in Shinnecock Hills. Applicant seeks variances for proposed additions and an exterior basement entry. This application passes the standards as set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, this board grants the following relief: provisions of Town Code 1 for proposed addition, Section 330-84D Pyramid Law, for a sky plane encroachment of 584 cubic feet on the west side for the west and north additions, and 2 for exterior basement entry. Town Code Section 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and Town Code Section 330-83C and D, yards, to allow the exterior basement entry to be located within the total required side yard for principal building as shown on the site plan. Plans and elevations prepared by Miguel Weinstein, R.A., dated September 20th, 2023. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, I have a final decision. Helen, this was yours, but I'm going to read it for you if you don't mind.
I appreciate that, Susan. Thank you very much.
Okay. Irene Vagionis and Martin Whalen, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-292-2-64. This application is for property located at 29 Romana Drive, Hampton Bays. Applicants seek variances for a proposed detached garage. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a proposed detached garage on a non-conforming lot. 1. Town Code Section 330-76D, placement of accessory building structures and uses in all districts, and Town Code Section 330-83C yards, to allow the detached garage to be located within the required minimum side yard and required total side yard for the principal building, as shown on the survey prepared by Robert A. Smith of Squires Holden, Weissenbacher, and Smith, last revised February 20th, 2024, and the floor plans and elevations prepared by architect Pamela J. Glazer, last revised October 24, 2023. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval.
Second.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion to close?
Second. Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like it good.
We're closed.